Good morning, lovely souls. Happy Friday. 2 miles Friday Ascension update. And I'm clearly not in the woods this morning. I'm down by the sea on the South Devon coastline, one of my favourite spots. And I will be here for as long as my backside can cope with the barnacled rock that I'm sat on. But it's a beautiful morning. We've had some rain in the night. The sun is coming up. I'm facing east, as I like to do. We've got 6 planets in retrograde. I know occasionally kind of chip in and talk about the retrogrades and what the energies are doing. But it's a very, very powerful time. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to also wish you all a happy equinox. We are now exactly at that balance point between light and dark. I'm talking of balance point, the sun is just coming up over here properly. Probably won't get a lot of sense out of me this morning while it's looking so pretty, but so yeah, balance point, light and dark, and everything that we're ingesting, assimilating, uploading, downloading, and generally dealing with on the pathway. And it occurred to me that there is a term that is used a lot, and that's and we hear it quite often about becoming crystalline, moving from carbon to crystalline. And I've been hearing this used in many spiritual conversations, books, predictions, about once we've moved into the 5th dimensional energy, how we then proceed to grow, how we then move on from that point, and whether we stay carbon and then we then move into kind of a different, whether we morph into something completely different. And my take on it is, at the moment, no, we've chosen the carbon version of ourselves for the time being. Evolution is a wonderful thing, but we've chosen to engage in this physical realm, and I think that's quite important to look at this morning, is the embracing of our physicality. Because on the spiritual pathway, it's very easy to move into a state of mind where you just want out of here. This is a tough planet. It's a tough realm to navigate. We choose our lessons, we pick our fights, basically, and we learn from them. That's our part of our soul contract. But many times you hear, I want to go home, and that's understandable. But to be here at this particular time and embracing what we have, what we're being presented with, for me, it feels one of the, this is the incarnation. This is the one that you've chosen to engage with, to be here for, to take the whole planet from the low frequency into the heart-based consciousness that we are all striving for. So carbon to crystalline, what does it mean? I've looked at this carefully. Of course we're going to evolve. We are going to adapt to the circumstances within which we find our bodies, which is living at a higher frequency. The 5th dimension isn't a holiday destination. It's not somewhere that you pack your bags and kind of like, right, I'm off to 5D, see you later. That's not how it works. It's our personal vibration. And of course, what the frequency that we vibrate at sets the world that we live in. So if we're living within our bodies, our human vessel, this chosen flesh and blood and bone of our physical incarnation, that is going to be affected by our consciousness level, because we are going to be very much pickier and a lot more choosy about what we bless our personal temple with. So the term carbon to crystalline at the moment, I believe, because I'm asked this question a lot, when are we going to become crystalline? Well, we're crystalline when we are engaged in the activities of purity. So I've worked with Archangel Gabriel a lot, particularly over the last 20 years or so. It was very much kind of alongside Archangel Michael when I began to really focus on this pathway. And I quickly realised that working with Archangel Gabriel has its incredible benefits, but also it means that you got to work. When you call for purity, when you say to the archangels or to the higher realms or to your team or to your ascended masters, purify me, you get purified, okay? You purify yourself of the lower frequencies that are held within your physical, mental, emotional and your spiritual fields. And as a lot of us are becoming more versed with this energy, with this activity now, you know, before we go through a cleansing process, we'd go through, you know, the often very challenging shifts that we have to go through, and it would take a long time. Whereas now we're far snappier with it. We're a lot more together. We're a lot more well trained. And if we're looking around us at society and the way that we all function and we all operate, we're being instinctively guided to cleanse our process, to actually become more evolved in the way that we are treating ourselves. And some people are taking this right back to basics, you know, like right back to the ways that we used to live before the intrusions or the inclusions of technology, living from the land, living on natural sources, in many ways. Because if you look at the way that our diet has progressed, it's become incredibly artificial. Yes, we can eat vegan, but unless we are raw food and completely dedicated, a lot of that diet it's saturated with chemicals and it's very processed. So there's a fine balance to be had here. And I personally believe the process of Crystalline at the moment is very much focused on our thoughts, our words, our deeds and our actions, okay? So you may hear this term and you might be prompted to be engaging with a mission of crystalline behaviour, of crystalline activities, of crystalline thoughts. And that's very much in line with this new energy that's coming in. So we've got the 6 planets in retrograde at the moment. If I reel them off, they'll probably be wrong, but I believe that it's Mars, Venus, definitely Mercury. We always know when Mercury's in retrograde. Saturn, Uranus and Pluto. And I think there's a Chiron edition somewhere in October. So that's big. So we're really feeling that at the moment. And today is that point, almost that 0 point, as we balance between light and dark on the equinox in the north here, in the north of our planet. It's the autumn equinox. In the south it will be the spring, so the evenings are getting lighter in the south, whereas here they're becoming the nights are becoming longer, the temperatures are dropping, it's cooling down, the leaves are turning brown, and it's a brilliant point in time to just have a look at our personal process, where we are, what we've achieved or what we've integrated or what we've been through over the summer, and really decide how we're going to begin to take it over the next few months. Okay, so we're now heading into Libra season again. Balance. How do we balance what we're going through? How do we balance what we're being presented with when we are privy to so much intense energies? I've seen posts about the Schumann resonance being completely off the charts, the sun flares coming in, the planets in retrograde. And why? You know, why is all of this occurring at this particular point in time if it's not to place us into a situation where we have to progress from where we were into a higher state? I'm always happy to share about my personal processes and the things that I'm going through. And with me particularly at the moment, I'm having to refine again what I eat, what I drink, what I put into my body. The physical levels of activity that I engage in are all being reassessed. Probably not just on a very practical level. Yes, I'm getting older, but also I've hit that point where I've asked my spiritual self to become completely immersed, fully on a master level, immersed into my pathway. So therefore, all of the activities that I engage with and the thoughts that I think have to follow suit. And the top of that list, the utmost priority, is our thought structures. Okay, now why do you think, whoop, I'm tilting, getting a bit seasick. Why do you think that the news or the media is saturated with information or seeding that is designed to lower our vibration? The second we engage with it, we go into survival mode. Like, if you want to call it, the reptilian part of your brain kicks in. All of the memories from the fall of Atlantis and all of the other numerous disasters that we've encountered over our many incarnations on this planet all begin to come to the surface. It is quite literally a battle for our attention. Okay, some people might call it a battle for our soul, but that's not even, it's not even in context. It's not even a question, sort of thing. It's a battle for our attention and our intention. So where our intention or our attention goes, our energy flows. Whatever we're keyed into, whatever we're tuned into, becomes a focus of our creation, of our reality. So those that are trying to distract us will be feeding us with information that is going to make us feel, or attempt to make us feel, like we're in danger, like we're going to be hungry, like the money's going to disappear, like we're not going to be able to survive, like a group of souls are going to take over the planet and capture everybody, and therefore use our energy and our resources for their own. So that is the theme that the third dimensional matrix wants to seed into all of us in order to get us to believe that that is what is going to occur. And of course, when a group of souls believe wholeheartedly in something happening, they share the information, they talk, and this is human nature. Therefore, the field of reality then becomes far more robust, and it becomes something that we are living in. So these retrogrades, these 6 retrogrades, the balance point of the energy, the focus upon us at the moment is revealing everything so that we can reassess how we think, how we create, how we manifest at the highest level. So becoming crystalline, to me, is the purification of our personal process. Okay, so, and it's not a term to be used lightly. Okay, when we say we are striving for purity, that has to include everything. Okay, but it also has to take into consideration that we are human beings. That is the most important part of our process, is to embrace the physical. It's why I called this page Practical Ascension, because without the practical, our heads remain in the clouds. And I learnt that lesson myself. You will always learn lessons or move through situations, sometimes repetitive and painful situations, that will teach you exactly how to do something, how to engage with a situation, how to manage it, how to move through it, how to succeed with whatever you are experiencing. And the more you do it, and the more difficult that situation is, the better you are at mastering it. Just think of the things that you are maybe struggling with, the lessons that are occurring in your life. It could be health, it could be a relationship, it could be interpersonal dynamics, it could be energy, it can be anything like that. think about what you're learning, think about what you are participating in, and purify the process. Okay, if you purify a process, if you immerse yourself into it, if you become wholeheartedly engaged in everything that you are doing and experiencing and learning, then you will become a master of your craft. And it's not, I don't believe it's egotistical to claim mastership of the situations that we are experiencing, because we are the masters of this golden era. We are the ones who are holding the template of this energy. We've anchored it in. Okay, we've led, or we've embraced what we're doing to a point where others can then look up and see what we are doing. They can look up from their smartphones, they can look up from the TVs, they can look up from the newspapers or the gossip or the low frequency situations that they've engaged in, and actually begin to move into a higher state of consciousness, because we are leading by example. That's mastery. That's engaging in sovereignty within our personal situation. So, becoming crystalline. I personally believe, that's a very loud helicopter. Let it pass over. So I personally believe at the moment becoming crystalline refers to the purification of our process. Maybe hundreds and thousands of years down the line, then yes, our physical forms will change to match the vibration and the environment that we live in. But for the time being, it's purifying how we think, how we engage with others, what we eat, what we drink, what we put in our bodies, the medicines, the healing, and ultimately how we create. If we're creating from a point of purity, that's what we receive. Okay, if we're creating from a point of fear, if we're creating from a point of resentment or anger or any of the other the human aspects that we find ourselves in, then unfortunately the facts of the matter is that is then manifested into our reality, and we have to deal with that. So that is my take on purity. Okay, the becoming crystalline, because I find it interesting. I mean, there's a school of thought that, and I must admit, it was very tempting back in 2012 to think that once we'd moved, we didn't know what was going to happen when the cosmic moment occurred on the 21st of December 2012. There was a little part of me that actually thought that I was going to just wake up in the fifth dimension, like just open the curtains and like, hey, we're in 5D, yay! And it's a similar train of thought with the, once we've embodied this higher frequency, that all of a sudden all of the changes just occur in a very short space of time. They do, but on an energy level, and then the energy then has to evolve and match and rearrange everything within our lives to hold at that frequency. And that, my lovelies, I believe is why we feel so challenged at the moment. It's why everything feels so tough, so difficult, so tricky to manage, is because we are being asked to refine our process in harmony with what we are choosing to be. Heart-centered beings on a heart-centered planet, living in the next golden era. And the golden era is already here. We're just preparing the foundations for it. We're beginning the building, but ultimately it lies with us, because you can't have a golden structure, a golden era, if we're not living in that vibration. Okay, so as I've explained many times before, we're leaving the house of 3D, or we've left the house of 3D. We've begun the moving process of exiting from the matrix, but it's not just as simple as unplugging and saying goodbye. Well, some people might find it so. There are many, many ties that we still have to the 3D world, and will have for some time to come, that are going to affect our transition. So all we can do ultimately is focus on the purity of self. As within, so without. As above, so below. becoming crystalline is our target. It's our focus for our personal journey. So if you want a little bit of help, or maybe some of that diamond clarity, or certainly some of that diamond energy, Archangel Gabriel is the one to connect with. Okay, Archangel Gabriel works on the diamond ray of purity, and when you call that energy in, expect change, expect results, expect to be engaged with a tangible energy that actually is something which you can distinctly feel is working in your life. And one of the things that I often do, if I want to make sure that I am getting the best of myself, the situations that I'm working with, I will surround myself in Archangel Gabriel's diamond purity. That means that me, within the biosphere of my reality, I am functioning from a point of clarity. And if I'm not thinking right, or if I'm not doing the right things, then it rapidly shows up in my reality. That's that's part of the discomforts of growth. But growth is becoming smoother. We don't necessarily have to look at our growth and our progress as painful anymore. We've learned, and we've moved on, and we're expanding in our roles so rapidly that the things that we go through are becoming more fluid, more easy. So let's expect the best, okay? When you expect the best, you set the template for that reality. And who knows, with every day that we're here, life gets brighter, it becomes more fluid. And as we certainly move through the next few months, we can expect a vast rising of frequency as we head towards the winter solstice, which, let's face it, is not that far away. So from the beautiful South Devon coastline, sending you all so much love. Hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.